warm welcome to our talk. Hopefully it will be a pleasant experience. With me today here is James Fong. It's a pleasure to introduce him from IBM. And for those who don't know me or to whom I didn't introduce myself yet, I'm Jan. I'm with Magnolia for a couple of years. And with that, my part of presentation is done, and I'm handing over to James. For now, at least.
For now. So my name is James Fong. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I am the lead product manager for Websphere Commerce. Websphere Commerce has been in the market now for almost 20 years. We started in 1996, January 1996 in Toronto. So I was part of the original 9-person team back then. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about how content is important to those who are selling goods and services online. Now, one of the first things I want to understand in terms of who we have here is, for those users in the room, is there anyone here who's a user from a retailer of some sort selling online? Anyone?
Well, we have clients that do it.
No, yeah, I want to know the actual users, Magnolia users who might be working for a retailer.
Yeah, we do it for others.
Okay, so now on the other side, those SIs, the business partners, do you have retailers that you're working with to deploy, all right, so so my part of the talk here is about, why those retailers are looking to add more content. What do they want to do with that content? And then I'll pass it back to Jan about how to actually get it done. All right, so today, I started back, as I said, back in 1996. Some of our websites did look as simple as this, right? It was, all I need to do is get my catalog up onto the site. People would find the item, they would place the order, and I'm done, right? But today we need a lot more than just a catalog and a cart. And I'm going to take you through a few examples and some of the business motivation for doing so. So the first area I want to look at, so this is one of our customers, Micron. They sell the solid-state drives, they sell the memory chips. A large part of what they still need to do today, though, is educate people, right? What is SSD? Why is SSD better than the other forms of drives that are still available? And you get information like this on the website in terms of comparing DDR2 to DDR3 to whatever that is, DDR4, in terms of the different physical characteristics of the stuff. And so a big part of it is, as I said, helping the customer to understand, more so than just your typical product page might carry. We'll continue on with, in terms of speeds and failure times, reliability. Again, more information than you would typically see on a page. And especially when we work with manufacturers, right? Manufacturers it's not just all about selling online. As long as they can convince you to buy, and perhaps through one of the channel partners, they're completely happy with that. So their number one goal of the website isn't necessarily to sell, but it is to educate, make people aware of what they have, and convince them to buy. So what convinces people to purchase? Well, part of the content is to inform. What does the product do? How is it made? What's the technology? And in this case, explaining SSD, what that technology is. How does the product compare to both competition and to others in the product line when it's more, when you do need to decide which one is right for me? What are the ingredients or materials used? And so, as I said, one of the key things that retailers or those who are trying to sell, is that manufacturers is one of the cases, is around education. Now let's take a look at another example. So Home Depot is another customer of ours. And you see here from the product page, well, you've got the product image. You have a certain amount of information about the product, some level of attributes of the product as well. But what the do-it-yourself category is really trying to do is to kind of paint a picture of what you could have, what you could do, right? And so, what better way to sell you on remodeling your kitchen is to show you what the finished product could look like, right? And along with that, instructions to help convince you that you could actually do this. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, that's what I'd like, but I don't think I could actually do that, so I'm not going to purchase it. But understanding the tools that you need, the materials that you need, the steps that you need to go through, you can say, well, okay, I think I can do this. I'll go buy the stuff and try to install it myself. So, in terms of motivating people to purchase, so they want to understand what could you do with the product. So, okay, you sell it, but what would I do with it, right? So part of it is convincing them not only that they're aware that you have the product, but now they need to understand that what could I do with this thing? Why do I want to buy it? When could I use it? Where would I use it? So ultimately, why should I buy this product? And so we have a bunch of customers that want to inspire their customers. We have some of our do-it-yourself retailers that want to get tens of thousands of these instructions, videos up onto the website to support the sale of their goods. And now into a third example. So Whirlpool, so back to one of the manufacturers, today a lot of manufacturers are going direct. There used to be more concern about channel conflict in the past, but they're getting over that and realizing that either they sell direct or they'll just lose to their competition. But again, part of this is not just about selling online. They're quite happy to educate, to inspire, and for that sale to come through another channel. It could be in a physical store, through Sears or through someone else. But what I want to talk about here is, so if we take a look at the top left, it may be a little hard to read. Top left in a selling site is typically the top is the top level categories, right? The main things that they have to sell. In this case with Whirlpool, it's everyday care. So this is not something they sell. This is something they stand for, in terms of what the brand is about. And they have videos. They have the input from the social participation in terms of what this means, when you buy into the brand. About cleaner clothes equals better attendance rates. You look at connecting, what they do, what their products can do, but into a bigger picture, into a bigger story. And so here, it's about building that brand affinity, that brand loyalty, understanding what the brand stands for, and say, yeah, I'd like to buy from them. So really, being fascinated, enthralled, intrigued about who you're buying from. So what does the company and the brand stand for? What customers do with their products that benefit others? And a quote from their site, so from a content perspective, each act of care, each gesture of kindness reprograms our brains, forming bonds of attachment and love, weaving the very fabric of our society together more tightly, making our world smarter, stronger, and a better place to live. Right, so this is the content that Whirlpool is putting up on their site, right, to convince you that you should buy from them as opposed to Maytag or from others. So here, shoppers like stories. We've been groomed from an early age to listen to stories and to not only to read them, but to watch and to listen. And so this is really where that the different forms of media, whether it's that video, the audio part of it, not just some text that someone's reading, but all that rich content that comes into play. So shoppers want to watch, read, listen to a story. So content in e-commerce, we're working with CMS providers to be able to provide more rich content to the overall omni-channel selling sites. So, when we hear that our customers want to educate and inspire and tell a story, that's when we bring the content management solutions in. As I said, whether it's recipes for grocers, the do-it-yourself guides for Home Depot and others, runway videos for fashion, the customer testimonials, there's a lot more of that rich content that needs to come together to help convince a shopper to buy. And so, putting it all together, then you've got pages like this that our retailers want to put together, and CMS solutions like Magnolia can help to do that. So, these on these pages, you really don't see much about them. Where's the product to add to the cart? Eventually, you'll get there, but these are the more content rich parts of the site. And then back to these. Family dinners make us healthier. Family dinners improve childhood vocabulary. Sharing chores makes society stronger. They're just selling washing machines and dishwashers and fridges and stoves, but this is the message that they're trying to put out there. And so together, between that, as I said, we really need that content today to help convince, to educate, inspire, and tell a story for the shopper, to convince them to make a purchase. So pass it over to Jan in terms of how you can combine the two together.
Okay, thank you. I think I just realized that we didn't do enough family dinners with the kids, but hopefully there is still time to fix it. So, well, everything I had to say here was actually said already at the beginning by Bill and Philip, so bear with me for the part which will be repetitive. Oh, geez, I need to stay close to the mic. And, well, maybe we will just finish a little bit earlier or have more time for questions. Let's see how it goes. So you already heard that we have the connector between Magnolia and Smarter Commerce, or Websphere Commerce, sorry. I always mix the two. And so what does that connector do? What is it good for? Is it just something which allows you to pull the products from the Websphere Commerce, something which allows you maybe to enrich the content, add some extra information, or is it something else? Yes, it can do all those things, but it actually can provide you much more. You might know or remember that the commerce systems in general were traditionally very good at building and maintaining the catalogs. They were really good at the shopping cart management, and they are pretty proficient at the checkout and all the logistics which follows afterwards. And all those things are necessary to make a good shopping experience. If you want to buy, you want all those things to be seamless. You want to be able to easily search through the catalog. You want to see what's in your shopping cart, not to realize only 2 weeks later when the things arrive that you bought actually something else or too much of it. And you want to feel comfortable when you are at the checkout, providing shopper or the shop with your credit card or other billing details. But what really makes a great shopping experience, if you go back maybe 20 years, for those of you who are old enough, and if you look what you liked about the shops when you were shopping, you always went to the places which had friendly stuff in there, which was always helpful. You went for the places which give you this warm, fuzzy feeling, which makes you happy, makes you feel welcome, makes you feel at home. And you would prefer those over the stores which were cold, detached, and which make you feel like, well, it's just a bunch of the stuff and you don't really know what to want and how to get it out of there. So today, all the shopping goes virtual, and it's actually the shop and the product pages which help you or to connect with the product, to get attached to it, to convince you to buy it, just as James was explaining earlier. And shoppers want to more. They in order to build the shop which captivates you, which let you work or let you connect with the product. You want something which has clear design, which has abundance of information. You want to see where everything is on the page. Maybe you like something like this. Maybe that's your shopping experience. Maybe you want even something more. You want total shopping experience, for the lack of better term. Sorry, pun totally intended. And to deliver that, you need many things in the page. You would want things like the multilingual content, so every shopper can read it in the language which is actually most convenient for them. You will want things like ratings, so people know how other people reacted to those products. Did they like it or not? How much they liked it? You will want things like, I don't know what else, the customer reviews. You will want maybe some questions to be answered, some knowledge base about the product. You might appreciate if there is some badge over the image of the product in case it's on sale. You might want to have some social information about it to look even elsewhere how people react to those products. And to build something like that, it's not easy, and it rarely happens that you have just one solution, that you have just one product which offers you all and which offers everything there that you really want. So that's where we think Magnolia comes in and helps you to actually put together all those things and to combine the information coming from different systems and then output it to all the channels that you are using to actually reach out to the shopper. And not only that, you can build it manually once and get it working even without Magnolia. But what you get here is, with our approach, is something which is actually flexible, where you give the power to the content curators, to the editors, or to the store managers. So a week later, if they decide they don't like the order of the components or they want to change the things, they can actually come and reorder the things. They can switch off some parts. Maybe there are too many comments, so they switch them off. Maybe they want to add, I don't know, extra reviews or some other extra applications in there. As long as you have those elements in Magnolia, you are giving the shop manager control over it. They don't need to call IT department. Well, maybe that's what you want, so you can sell extra work for them. But the idea is that they actually are in control. They have the power. Of course, you can build a shop with something which just gives you the information, which just allow you to fill the fields, but maybe you want something more. And well, yeah, answer is obvious. We are standing here. We have presented this connector to you earlier today. So we believe that the combined strength of Magnolia and Websphere Commerce actually gives you such a solution, something which allows you to build the better experience for the shop managers to actually maintain the shops and provide more content and make it more loving. So with Magnolia, what you would get typically is this kind of the screen where you will have specialized applications for specialized purposes on your website, and you will just go through them and build them nicely or allow people nicely interact with this. Isn't that form much more comfortable to work with than something else? So if I come back to this total shopping experience page here, what you will probably end up doing is designing specialized apps for different purposes. So here maybe you will have Websphere Commerce to bring in the product detail, the main product view, but you might use the content translation or other specialized app to provide a multilingual experience, to connect it to the translation systems to actually get the translations for the data about the product. You might want to use some polls for bringing in external ratings of that product, maybe even from the other stores that you own, so you can combine those ratings. You might want to bring in yet extra tool or internal application for maintaining the reviews. Same thing for the knowledge base, and well, there is much more. You can really connect or build the specialized apps for anything you want, anything you can imagine. Okay, so you have all this, it's nice, fine, but how do you tie it all together? The answer to it is actually surprisingly simple. All you need to do is just to build the proper URL on the page. And from that, even though you put there, for example, localized names of the categories of the product, everything to make it very SEO friendly, you can still, over the ID of the product and of the categories, signal to all the other apps which are used in that page what kind of product is being displayed, what information they need about it. And if that's not enough, what you can also do with Magnolia, you can pre-execute the view of the product to actually get the full product information with all its images, with all its variations, etc. and provide that to all the other apps to just suck the data they need from it and use it to build the shopping experience. And if you get carried away, you maybe end up with something like this, where this single product page is so long that it doesn't really fit even the slide. If I had it in one view, it was just so small you couldn't even read it. But that's what shoppers like. That's what I personally like. If I come to some online store, there is all the information I need about the product. And it's all in one page. I don't need to go and search elsewhere. I can just look at that page. I can search through that page. And I can actually get all that information there. And of course, it doesn't end there. This is just the beginning. So you can build this perfect product page, but then you have different audiences. Not everybody's interested in the same things. What you can also do with Magnolia, you can personalize those pages. You can change parts of the pages for different audiences. And you don't need to basically use the audience which is defined just in Magnolia or in Smarter Commerce. You can do that, but it's not necessary. What you can do even more. Just maybe as anecdotal evidence, a week ago, we were presenting the Sugar CRM integration, the personalization integration, to somebody, and we used it to personalize pages which were displaying the Smarter Commerce product. The person was actually so impressed that day after they dropped their trial they were doing with some other CMS and went to try out Magnolia because, well, accidentally they had the already Sugar CRM and Smarter Commerce in place, so that probably helped to convince them. But the fact that they were able to see and use information in one product to customize the data coming from the other product was something which they saw as such a unique selling proposition that it was enough to convince to actually go with the product. Speaking of personalization, that came out as the new thing last year, so I won't try to fool you and say that it's a new thing. What's new in personalization this year is actually that since we released this great engine in the product, we started adding the integrations on top of that engine. So as of now, we are able to show you and provide you with the segments that are defined in Websphere Commerce directly in Magnolia. So you don't have to define them in two places. You can just reuse them to steer also the content which is not located in the WebSphere. We have this trade integration also available for the Sugar CRM. So you can use things like lead types or opportunity types to steer the content of the web page and provide the better experience or better content to these different types of users. And what we have also in the pipeline is the Salesforce integration for the same thing, where we will be basically providing you with the info that exists in the CRM and allow you to change the content of your website, of your applications, of your pages to provide basically what you need or what the shoppers or what the audience needs in general. So hopefully after a while, your Magnolia installation will look like this, and you will have a bunch of the specialized apps which allow editors, managers of the website to treat Magnolia as one-stop shop, as the one place where they can actually access everything they need for their work. And they can feel more empowered, more happy, and hopefully bring that happiness back to the customers and build the better and nicer pages. Speaking of integrations, there is actually a number of the integrations we have. I'm not listing all of them here, but there should be a number which we have. So all those things are already available. There is a number of other things which we have in the pipeline. There is a number of other things yet which are being considered to be included later. If there are any integrations you want, anything you think Magnolia would benefit from being integrated with, being available out of the box, let me know. We will definitely look into it. I can't promise that we will do it, but we will look into it. And with that, well, I promise it's going to be short, right? And it was. Thank you very much.